All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the beginning of our Explore the World Live travel webinar series. I'm Jennifer McPherson of Turnkey Travel, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. My travel-only colleagues and I hope that you and your families have been staying safe through these challenging times. We'd like to start off with a little video about our destination, Ireland, the Emerald Isle. Great. Terrific. That gives you a little preview when we're in store. So being in the travel industry, you know, it's been a crazy year, and we now know how keen you are to get back out there and explore again. We are as well. And whether it's just within your province or own country or wanting to fly across the world. But since we can't meet in person right now, we wanted to share a little bit of this travel world with you by starting this monthly travel series in a way to connect with you, inspire and inform you about some of the amazing destinations that await us all. So tonight we'll be traveling across the Atlantic to the Emerald Isle. Most people assume I'm Irish because my birthday's on St. Patrick's Day, but alas, I have Scottish and English roots. But I think I'm a close cousin. So tonight, and bear with us for technical challenges. I want to make sure that I'm doing all this right. There we go. Sorry. We've got a jam-packed half hour or so for you. It is being recorded, so no need for taking any notes. We'll send you the link tomorrow and you can go back and watch this. And we've got a great speaker ahead, some fun trivia, time for your questions afterwards, and even we'll wrap up with some exciting announcements and draw prizes. So you can keep up to date with our upcoming destinations for our monthly series through your travel advisor, or by also on social media following us with the hashtag on the bottom corner of the slide. So I hope you have your favorite drink, nibbly with you, and let's get started. First up, let's introduce our team. Good. As I said, I'm Jen McPherson of Turnkey Travel. I've been a traveler all my life, but only started in this business a few years ago. I've been fortunate to see a lot of places, but I'm looking forward to taking my family to Galapagos after the pandemic. Nicola?
My name is Nicola Ratte, and I'm a certified travel counselor with Travel Only. I have been in the travel business for 14 years and the past 7 years with Travel Only. Some of my favorite regions to visit are, of course, Europe and the east coast of Canada.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sandy Lang of Lang Travel, Travel Only. I've been in the travel business for more than 23 years, owning my own agency with Travel Only for the last 14. I can't wait to get back in the air again, perhaps to the South Pacific.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sherry Grattan, and I am a certified travel counselor and the owner of To the Beach Travel. I have been running my business for the past 10 years, and my favorite beach destination is Aruba, and my favorite adventure destination is Costa Rica. when it's safe to do so, my next trip outside of Canada will be the rescheduling of my canceled river cruise from 2020, and I hope to do that with Amma Waterways.
Hi, everyone. I'm Joanne Saab. I'm with Curated Travel. I've been working in the travel industry for almost 10 years now. And next stops on my own personal bucket list are to reschedule those trips from 2020, just canceled. And I want to see Peru to visit Machu Picchu, and also a girls trip that I had to cancel to actually visit Ireland. So I'm certainly excited to hear about tonight's presentation and be re-inspired by the Emerald Isle. I'm going to start us off tonight with a bit of a travel rebound update. We wanted to tell you a little bit about what's been happening around the world and how countries are preparing for an eventual return to travel. Everybody knows that Canada and Europe are currently experiencing their third wave of COVID, and as vaccination rates increase, we are expecting that over the summer and into the fall that those numbers will begin to decline, and there'll hopefully be a reopening of borders and a return to travel into 2022. On a positive note, Greece announced last week that they are opening for foreign travelers beginning in May of 2021, so they're the first European country to do so. And both Royal Caribbean and Celebrity Cruise Lines announced last week that they are returning to cruising in the Bahamas for 7-night sailings starting in July. So they're only going to be visiting one country with overnight stays to their private islands and a few days at sea. But they will be requiring that all of their staff and their adult passengers be fully vaccinated prior to boarding. And kids, if they are going to sail, will need to provide proof of a negative PCR COVID test 72 hours prior to sailing. So we see these as some positive trends as what's to come as more and more people are begin to be vaccinated and things can open up. Moving forward, it looks like proof of vaccination or a negative COVID swab are likely going to be required to travel moving forward. That's not likely to change, but the details around the how and the why, or the how and the rules around that vary from country to country, so that's evolving. You've probably heard in the news that the vaccine passports are being floated around as an idea, and countries seem to be debating about whether or not these will be required for entry into their individual countries. So these would be free mobile apps where international travelers could upload their proof of vaccination or any negative COVID test results or health waivers. So again, there still remains a lot of inconsistency around these passports, what they would look like, privacy concerns, and so that continues to evolve. Now for Ireland, Ireland's currently still requiring a negative PCR swab within 72 hours of arrival and self-isolation for 2 weeks on arrival. And Canada, as you know, we require a negative PCR test before you get here, and then a 14-day self-isolation and your 3-day mandatory hotel stay. So all of that is continuing to evolve, and we hope that as vaccination rates increase and those COVID numbers decline, that we will see things will change and we'll be able to get back to traveling, which is what we all want to be able to do and to do it safely. So on that note, I'm going to pass it over to Nicola. She's going to start us off with some Irish trivia.
So before we start with the presentation, we have some two poll questions. So when they come up, you just click the screen, the radio button on the screen, and we tell you the answer afterwards. Also, if you have questions during the presentation, on the right-hand side, you see a chat box. You can, since you're unmuted, so please put your questions in there and we will monitor the questions on the back end and will answer them at the end of the presentation. So the first question is, what do you think is the percentage of people in Ireland with red hair? Yeah.
Okay, it looks like that the top winner here we're seeing is people have chosen the third option, 28%. That's the top winner so far.
And Sandy, what is the correct answer?
And the correct answer is 9%. It's not as high as people may think.
Okay, on to the next question. The longest running maternity hospital in the world is the Rotunda Hospital in Dublin. What year was it built?
I don't know the answer to this one, but I was born there.
All right, it's neck and neck between 1899 and 1745. Do we have the correct answer?
And the correct answer is 1745. Good guess.
Okay, so I would like to give a big welcome to Jonathan Sargent. Jonathan was born and raised in Dublin. Despite living in Toronto for almost 10 years, he still loves to go home, spend time exploring the Irish countryside and visiting his grandfather's farm where he spent most of his summers growing up. He is the sales manager with Royal Irish Tours, who specializes in Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales. Jonathan, it's all yours.
Great. Thank you for that lovely introduction, and hello everyone. Thank you for joining this evening. I'm delighted to be here to tell you all about my beautiful country, the Emerald Isle. Can everyone see the screen all right? If one of the panelists can let me know. All good?
All good.
Perfect. So I'm just going to bring you on a short virtual tour around the Emerald Isle to try and inspire you to want to visit when it's safe to do so. At the moment, we've currently postponed all our travel until at least September this year. So we're still hopeful on September, October, but it's too early to tell if any group travel will be able to go. So this is more just about inspiration for the beautiful country. But a bit about Royal Irish Tours. We are Canada's leading tour operator cell in Ireland and very much specialists in that. Ian Duffy, our owner there in the top right, and his son Connor, he founded Royal Irish Tours back in 2001. He fell in love with a Canadian, moved to Richmond Hill, set up roots there and started Royal Irish Tours back in 2001. And so Ireland is very much in our hearts. A lot of our staff are Irish, and that's what we specialize in. So just to give you an idea of how small the country is, and sometimes it's hard to fathom as Canadians just how small Ireland is in comparison. I remember from my high school geography days, I believe you could fit Ireland 120 times inside Canada. So to give you an idea, from Dublin in the east to Westport in the west, it's about a 3-hour drive, or just a little longer. And from the very north of Ireland at Malin to the very south at Mizenhead, you're probably looking at a 9 or 10-hour drive. So in a 10-day vacation, you really can see quite a lot of the country. We have a lovely 2-week tour that does a full circumference, but 7 to 10 days, you can see quite a lot of Ireland. Very easy to get around. You're only 2 hours from Dublin to Belfast, and most air access will be into Dublin, of course. And what you'll see before landing on the Emerald Isle, if you look out your window about 20 or 30 minutes, and before your flight's landing, you'll see the lovely islands on the west coast of Ireland. This is Inishmore, one of the largest of the Aran Islands. Still a population of about 500 people, and Irish Gaelic is still the first language of the people. There's some of these islands don't even have schools or shops, so kids would have to get a boat to school every day on the mainland. And so it really is like going back in time, but you really get to see these 40 shades of green that Ireland is famous for, and even before you land in the beautiful Emerald Isle. I always recommend upon arrival getting out to breathe in the fresh sea air. I actually took this picture. I was lucky enough to be able to go back to Ireland last summer, and despite COVID, so I went back for over 2 months. And after my isolation of 2 weeks, I was more than happy to go out and explore. So I took this when I was down just south of Kinsale in Cork on a lovely, beautiful day. and there's no better way to cure the hangover when you're in Ireland than a bit of fresh sea air. I was down there with a couple of friends and had a couple of pints of Guinness the night before, but the fresh sea air, there's nothing better, and the air feels fresher when you're in the countryside in Ireland. Why I want to stay? One of the reasons is the people. They say we have the Céad Míle Fáilte in Ireland, the 100,000 welcomes. So no matter where you go on the Emerald Isle, you're going to meet lots of friendly locals along the way. Whether you're lost on the Wall Atlantic Way and you ask a local for directions, they'll try their best to get you on your way, but you might not understand what they say if their accent is a bit thick. But they'll probably ask your last name, where you're from, what you're doing there. They're not being nosy, they're just being genuinely friendly. And they're always big fans of hearing that you've come from Canada to explore their lovely country. The food scene as well, perhaps not a reason people want to go, but often a reason they want to come back, the people, and then the incredible food. So we really pride ourselves on farm to fork in Ireland. Obviously being an island, lots of incredible seafood. Our animals, we don't really get snow in Ireland, so animals are grass fed 12 months of the year, out grazing, which results in really tender beef and lamb and things like that, as well as incredible cheeses and butters. Our butter is renowned around the world as one of the best. And of course, everyone knows our beverages, the likes of Guinness. We also make some incredible ciders. Bulmers, or Magners as it's known, is a big export from Ireland, but lots of craft breweries, distilleries, cideries all around the country that you can explore. Gin has really exploded in the last 10, 15 years, but we're still best known for the Ishkabaha, the water of life, the whiskey, as you travel around. And I always recommend visiting at least one or two of the amazing whiskey distilleries we have to offer. The wonderful traditional Irish music as well. So if you're on a coach tour traveling around Ireland, the driver or guide can always recommend a few great pubs in any small town you're in. But no matter where you are in Ireland, you're guaranteed to be able to find some lovely traditional Irish music. There's a pub for everyone in Ireland, so if you want a quiet drink and with just you and the bartender, that's possible. If you want some live music, you can always find that. And if you want something a bit more rowdy, you can go into the Temple Bar or some of the busier areas in the major cities. Of course, the history, over 5 million Canadians with Irish ancestry and nearly 10 million with Irish or British ancestry. I noticed the spelling of Jen's last name, McPherson there, MC. So if she was Irish, it would have been MAC, and it means son of. But that's the main difference if you know someone is Scottish or Irish with that last name. The MAC is the Irish spelling. So there'll be a lot of MAC up in Northern Ireland, but they do share a lot of connections with Scotland. Of the 5 million Canadians with Irish roots, 2 million are Ulster Scots. So they'd be in the northern part of Ireland and generally of Scottish ancestry before they moved over to North America. So the scenery as well, of course, a big reason people want to go, explore that beautiful Wild Atlantic Way and see the iconic Cliffs of Moher seen here in the picture. All those little sardines you can see up in the top left of the screen, they're actually people, so there's lovely walks you can do along there. A great area for hiking, for biking, if anyone wants to do outdoor activities. But the scenery and the greenery of the west coast of Ireland can't be beat, and these Cliffs of Moher are one of the highlights of any trip to Ireland. Of course, we have some incredible iconic attractions as well as we go throughout Ireland. None more famous than the Titanic Belfast, which was built in the city of its birth on the 100th anniversary of the fateful maiden voyage. So this was the pride of Belfast when it was built between 1908 and 1912. 14,000 locals worked to build the ship. It really was the pride of the city. And this exhibition, it isn't a gallery, like you don't see artifacts or anything from the Titanic. There's 9 galleries. So you see what it was like as a first class passenger on board, what it was like as a third class passenger. There's a little roller coaster you take. When I say roller coaster, you go about 1 mile per hour, but you take this down and it gets a little warmer as you hear stories from survivors who worked in the coal bunkers. And then as you come up, you hear voices of other survivors from the ship. So a really very moving experience, and it's done itself justice with a great experience kind of commemorating that fateful maiden voyage. Right opposite, there's the lovely Titanic Hotel, which is the same building where the Titanic would have been designed. So if you have the time when you're in Belfast, worth going in to the bar there with the main drawing room and to have a lovely drink in there, and it's really very historic. And of course, what travel is all about, it's the memorable experiences you make along the way, and you'll certainly make an abundance of them as you travel throughout Ireland and the UK, especially Ireland. My top tips: enjoy a pint or two of the black stuff in the home of its birth. So of course, Dublin is where Guinness was invented. Arthur Guinness signed a 9,000-year lease for £1 back in 1759. And so that's definitely a shrewd businessman there. So it's now some of the most expensive property in Dublin city centre, and it's been leased to Guinness, one of the wealthiest drinks companies in the world, for £1. So that's perhaps why they're so wealthy. But it really is an amazing experience. 7 floors, you get to see stuff like, you get to see their advertising campaigns, for example. There's a whole floor to that. When they started advertising Guinness back in the 50s and 60s, they had the slogan, Guinness is good for you. Up until Diageo bought Guinness in 2001, women, when they gave birth, or people when they gave blood, used to get a bag of chips and a glass of Guinness in order to restore their salt and iron after giving blood or having given birth. So that's a nice little fact for you. So Guinness were the first people to give paid vacation days and also pensions as well. So way ahead of the time, the Guinness family. They had lots of really great housing for all their staff as well. And it is a great company, and it's a really great experience to visit there. But no matter where you are in the Ireland, obviously Guinness is going to be on tap. But you get lots of great local breweries as you go around as well. So you can have a pint of stout in some small town, and you've never heard of the stout, and it's come from down the road. And it's really amazing to see the craft beer scene taking off as well. Or maybe you prefer the Ishkabaha, the water of life. Seen here in the background is Middleton Distillery, and one of the 2 original distilleries that were set up back in the 1700s that still stands today. The other one being Bushmills up in Northern Ireland. But it's really great to learn about the Angel's Share, to get a lovely tour and a tasting of some of the finest whiskey Ireland has to offer. And of course, you're going to hear lots of stories when you come to Ireland, and whether it's from a tour guide or from a local, you'll learn about the folklore and mythology. And for anyone who knows anything about the Giant's Causeway, these basalt columns were formed millions of years ago from volcanic eruptions. My apologies. There's over 40,000 of them. Or if you believe Irish mythology, they're actually the footsteps of Finn McCool, who made them as he was fighting his rival over in Scotland. There's actually a sleeping giant hill just behind, so it actually looks like a sleeping giant. But you learn lots of great mythological stories as you go throughout Ireland. There's another one, there's the highway down in the south of Ireland, and BBC actually made a documentary about this. There's a tree that they said the fairies lived in, and so the council got permission to knock the tree down to build the road, but none of the council workers would knock the tree down because they didn't want the bad luck. So the road was delayed by about 5 years, and in the end they ended up reverting the road, so no one dared knock the tree down. So the tree still stands today. So again, we're still very superstitious and believe in the folklore and mythology in Ireland, but it's really great. It's why we're such good storytellers as well. And of course, you get the chance to enjoy many colourful towns and villages as you go throughout Ireland. This is Westport seen in the background. They have a Tidy Towns competition in Ireland. And my father actually used to be a town planner, and he was one of the judges of this one year. But Westport is a winner more than once. So Tidy Towns is for having pretty little towns and villages. Obviously no litter or anything, nicely painted shops and houses. And just law-abiding citizens. So it's a really quirky little competition that's run every year, and some of these towns and villages really take pride in trying to get in the top 3 every year, and they'll hang signs and stuff to say they were the tidiest town 1975 and things like this. So it's really quirky, but you'll visit so many great little towns and villages as you go throughout. Of course, we can't not mention COVID that's happening at the moment, and all the companies in Ireland. Anything related to the tourism and food industry, hospitality, would have had to do this safety COVID charter, or they wouldn't have to, but it was voluntary, and within 3 days or something, 90% of tourism companies in Ireland had signed up for it. So it's online courses just to ensure all your staff are trained. All our drivers and guides, of course, would have done it. And then there's the We're Good to Go mark in Northern Ireland, which is also in the UK as well. So look out for tourism companies which have these signs, just so you know they're COVID safe. But obviously, given the situation at the moment, we don't have any travellers going. We are hopeful for some fall travel, and we're getting lots of interest in 2022. And I know Jen has put together a lovely tour of Ireland, a group tour for 2022, which will be a lovely time to visit. And we're really excited to get travellers back there next year. A few frequently asked questions or need to knows, and I'm sure these are some of the questions that might come in the chat box. But what's the weather like in Ireland? So in spring and fall, you're looking at about 15 to 20 degrees by day, 10 to 15 at night. I would compare it to spring or fall in the likes of Vancouver. Then the summer, it doesn't get quite as hot as Vancouver, so maybe 17 to 25 by day, and no colder than 10 to 15 at night. So it's a very moderate climate. We always recommend bringing layers because it can get cold at night, but you can often have 4 seasons in one day. And the best thing about that, though, is if you get a bit of rain and then a bit of sun, you get some lovely rainbows. And I've never gone to Ireland without seeing a rainbow. They probably have at least one a week, if not more. And it's probably why the leprechauns used to find gold at the bottom of the rainbow, that story, and because rainbows are a very common occurrence in Ireland. Of course, the currency in the Republic of Ireland is the euro, and in Northern Ireland, they use the UK pound sterling. But of course, there's no border, so sometimes you haven't a clue if you're in Northern Ireland or the Republic of Ireland. The only way to tell the difference is the signposts will change from kilometers per hour, and the Americans and the Brits are the same, both still using miles on their signposts, and so it changes to mile per hour when you're in Northern Ireland. But I was in the St. Patrick's Centre last year, which is a lovely visitor attraction, and in Northern Ireland, I paid €5 for a coffee, and I got £3 in change, and I was very confused. And even as an Irish citizen, I forgot I was in Northern Ireland. So you can still use the currency across the border, but you're better off using the local currency if you can. The average cost for any dinners or lunches on any tour or when you're visiting, you're looking at about 20 to €25 for dinner and about 10 to €15 for your lunch. So, you know, that's about 12 to 18 Canadian dollars. How much is a pint of Guinness or a wee whiskey? You're looking at about €4 in more rural areas. Dublin will be similar prices to the likes of Toronto, so a little more expensive, but in some of the small towns you can get some nice local brews for a very good deal. And if you ever do a coach or a driving tour around Ireland, or even doing a train trip, you're never longer than 4 hours in any one day in the vehicle, frequent stops for sightseeing, comfort breaks, as I showed you on the map, and very easy to get around. So before I move in, I do have a trivia question and a prize giveaway, and Jen's probably given out because I was supposed to do a toast at the start, but I forgot. So maybe I'll do the toast now. I found a nice Irish toast to give everyone. So I have a nice glass of wine. I'm a bad Irishman. Unfortunately, I didn't have any whiskey at home, but I'll just say the nice toast, and then we can all have a swig, and then I can give away a nice prize as well. So may love and laughter light your days and warm your heart and home. May good and faithful friends be yours wherever you may roam. Sláinte. So in Ireland, as I said, you'll hear lots of great stories, and you know, people will be wanting to talk to you in the pub, etc. But I can guarantee you'll come back with more friends than you arrived with. Obviously, you'll meet lots of fellow travellers when you're there, but also the locals in Ireland. They really do steal your heart away, and they really add to the trip. And that's what it's all about on these trips, connecting with the locals. And there's no better place to do that than in Ireland. So I do have test your knowledge of Ireland, a prize giveaway. It's going to be a $10 Starbucks gift card. So in order to win the trip, win the $10 Starbucks gift card, I wish it was a trip, I'm going to put a question on the next slide, and there's A, B, or C are the options. So you can either type A, B, or C into the chat, or you can type in the actual answer as well. And we'll give you about 30 seconds, and then I think Jen is going to pick a winner, and we'll send you out that gift card by tomorrow. So, what is the national musical instrument of Ireland? So the first option is the bodhrán, second is the harp, or the third is the fiddle. So you can type A, B, or C into the chat. So the fiddle is like an Irish version of a violin. The harp, of course, everyone would know that. It's the symbol of on Guinness. And the bodhrán is an Irish drum. It's a handheld drum. So very popular. All three are very popular instruments in Irish traditional music bands. The harp, not so popular in the traditional music bands, but you'll often get a harpist in small little pubs or restaurants throughout the country. So we'll give people another few seconds. Hope there's some answers coming in the chat there. Does any of you guys know the answer?
I'm gonna guess the harp. That's my guess.
Okay, very good.
think-
It's time
Yeah.
for the big reveal now, I think. So the
All
answer
right.
is indeed the harp.
Ah,
You'll see it on the back. You'll see it on the back of if you have any Irish coins, the euro, you'll see the harp on it. But the thing is, Guinness actually trademarked the harp long before the Irish government decided that it was the national instrument, the national symbol of Ireland. So you'll notice on the back, if you go onto any Irish embassy website, you'll see the harp, but Guinness have the harp flipped the other way. So that was the compromise they came up with. So Guinness had the harp trademarked before the Irish government had a chance to use it. So there you are, a bit of Irish trivia for you, and one of you is going to be a lucky winner.
all right.
So
Well,
this is my overview. So thank you everyone for listening, and lots of time for questions now.
great, great. Well, we have 80 islands as far as I can count with around Ireland, and we don't have quite that many attendees tonight. So let's take a derivative of that and pick out whoever was number 40 on our registration list. Nick?
Yes.
There you go.
That's Joanne, so that doesn't work. So pick
Oh,
another.
all right, well then you pick another number, Joe, since it's yours.
I'll pick 35.
35. Marianela. And I just see if she is on here.
Good. Excellent. Good, good. All
Well,
right, well we
she is not on the webinar.
okay.
So you have to pick another one.
Okay. Joe, pick another.
Sorry.
Number 10, lucky number 10.
10.
Well, we can send that out to someone.
Darlene Ellison.
Great.
Darlene.
Darlene is on. She's asked a few questions, so she's there.
Great. All right.
Nice, congratulations.
Great. Okay.
With Starbucks prices, you get
Take
yourself
back.
one coffee for that.
Great. Good. So we'll take back control there. So everybody got my screen back up?
Yes.
Yes? Think so. Good. All right. Sherry, go ahead.
Well, thank you so much, Jonathan, for that wonderful presentation about Ireland. What a beautiful country. And it was interesting to learn about the last name Mac versus Mick, and tracing that back to either Ireland or Scotland. Also, if anyone has any questions, please enter them into the question box on your right-hand side. And while we're waiting for questions, maybe Ian, you could load the last two polls in for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have it on the next slide? I think I saw it coming up, and I'll load here we are.
Okay. Whoop. Are we still there?
Here we go. I'll load the poll for what the heck are crew beans. Here we go.
Okay, and the answer could be A, boiled pig's feet, B, bread fried in bacon fat, C, type of black pudding, or D, mashed potatoes with scallions. And looks like everybody's participating.
It's a very common dish in rural Ireland, and while it doesn't sound the most appetizing, it is very tasty.
Here's our results.
Okay, so we got a tie. for boiled pig's feet and mashed potatoes with scallions? And the answer is
The correct answer is boiled pig's feet.
thank you, Sandy. Okay, and our fourth trivia question is, what color was originally associated with St. Patrick? I'll get Ian to load that in for you. Is it yellow, purple, blue, or brown? Wow, all of them are very similar, coming up very similar.
All right, I'll load the results here for you. One sec. Here you go.
Thank you. Sandy, what's the answer?
And the correct answer is actually the lowest. It's actually blue at 18%.
Wow. Excellent.
Okay, so Jen, am I passing it along to you now?
Yes, you are. Yes.
Okay.
And I am
Okay,
back.
Thanks again. Thanks again, Jonathan, for presenting. Over to you, Jen.
Great. Thank you so much. And I'm back here with the exciting reveal, which Jonathan has mentioned, is that I know that you're all inspired with the beautiful, island of Ireland. And in fact, we are so ready to go that we have been working with our friends at Royal Irish Tours to pull together a fabulous itinerary for you. So seeing everything of the island over 11 days in September next year, 2022, from the 10th to the 20th. And we are literally going to fly into Dublin and do the whole island. So everything that you saw basically on Jonathan's presentation, from the Giant's Causeway to Titanic Museum and more. So if you are ready to go, we are going to have a webinar specifically on that tour and the details with it 1 week tonight, same time, 7:30 Eastern. And we are going to be able to go through some of those details and specific questions that you might have, as well as all our travel advisors will have the flyer and the web link for that webinar tomorrow to send out to you if you are interested, along with the special discount just for April. So hopefully we'll see some of you on that webinar and tell your friends, and then we can enjoy the beautiful island together. All right. So if we have any questions, Sherry, do we want to pass those over to Jonathan?
Yeah, so I'm just monitoring the questions. Some of them, so I've got a question from Christine. It says, are older children 10 plus welcome on group trips, or would they be discouraged?
Yes, no, kids are welcome on our tours. If they're under 12, there is a discount. It's about half the price of the adults. But yes, they are welcome. Our smaller sightseeing tours are very popular. But we do get plenty on our coach tours. We often get grandparents traveling with grandchildren who want to do a lovely tour of Ireland. So yes, we can take children on our tours. However, the main market is an older demographic, but we do get families on our tours every now and again.
Okay, thanks, Jonathan. So there's another question here. What is the maximum length for a tourist stay?
A tourist stay in Ireland, I believe for Canadians, I'm actually not sure, it's either 3 or 6 months. But it could be a case where, if you're in the Republic of Ireland, go to Northern Ireland for a day and come back. I'm pretty sure it's 6 months. It might be 3 months, but unfortunately, I don't know the exact answer because we don't book too many passengers for longer than a month or two. But 3 months would be a lovely trip to Ireland.
Okay, and we can You can also find that out on travel.gc.ca. If you type in the destination, it will tell you the maximum length that you're allowed to stay in a country.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nicole's asking, oh, hold on. How accessible are the tours for those who have physical challenges?
Yeah, so our coach tours are accessible for them, and there's like a couple of things you might not be able to do. For example, climbing up the tight stairways to get to kiss the Blarney Stone. But post-COVID, we're not sure too many people are going to want to do that. But we can take walkers on our tours, no problem. And they can go underneath, and our drivers and guides are always very helpful, helping people on and off the coach. And if someone is in a wheelchair, that's fine too. They would just need to have a helper that's able to get them on and off the coaches. So yeah, very accessible. And you know, there's a couple of things where walking is a possibility, etc., on our coach tours. But most of the attraction visits, they arrive right up to the entrance, and there's always an accessibility entrance as well. So I would say we have plenty of people with mobility issues go on our tours. It's not a problem.
Okay, great, thank you. And it looks like the last one here is, can you stay in an Irish castle overnight?
Yeah, absolutely. So in Scotland, there's not as big an availability, just because a lot of them are still privately owned. But in Ireland, the great thing is a lot of these castles, you know, investors invested in these incredible castles. So I'd say there's probably 20 or 30 really amazing castles around Ireland, and you can stay in. And we have Kilronan Castle included on some of our tours. There's a lovely one, Loch Esk, up in Donegal. And then Dromoland Castle is a 12th century castle near Shannon Airport. That's a 5-star. So yes, and that's certainly something you can do. And we always recommend, you know, including a night at the castle if you can, if you're doing your own thing. Very popular with our driving holidays and chauffeur drive trips. But we visit plenty of lovely castles as well, which you can certainly stay at.
Oh, that's great. Good. Excellent.
Sherry, do you see some more questions?
We can also answer those afterwards. Our travel advisors can all get in touch with you as well if there's some specific answers. Is there anything burning there, Sherry?
Yeah, I think most of them have been answered. Sorry. Someone's asking, what is the best food in Ireland?
The best food. Well, that depends on your taste, but
it's Guinness. It's Guinness.
Yeah, Guinness. Yeah, I really love our dairy product, as I said. So some incredible cheeses, if you like cheese, blue cheese and stuff. Every day you're in Ireland, you'll get a full Irish breakfast. So people always ask what that includes. I always say a better question will be what it doesn't include, because there's so much. Anything from sausage, bacon, black pudding, white pudding, to, you know, fried mushrooms, tomatoes, some wheaten bread. The soda bread in Ireland is absolutely incredible as well. In Northern Ireland, you'll get porridge at breakfast, and they put a wee tipple of whiskey in some of the places on it with a little bit of honey. So lots of really incredible food you can experience. But we really pride ourselves, as I said, on that farm to fork local cuisine. So it's really good. If anyone's ever been out to Newfoundland and St. John's, some of the restaurants there, I would say that's kind of a similar food scene to what they have in Ireland now.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
And then I have Darlene asking, she has celiac, so she can't have wheat, oats, or barley. Will her diet be accommodated easily?
Yeah, so the Irish and Scottish, I think, have the highest percentage of people with celiac that are celiacs in the world. So I remember taking a group of travel agents 2 years ago, and one of them was a celiac, so we noted it on the file. It was no problem. We came to this place, we were getting soup and sandwiches at one of the bars, and she was like, "Excuse me, I'm a celiac." And they were like, "Yeah, that's gluten-free bread," and she couldn't believe what good it tasted. So she couldn't. She said it didn't look like gluten-free bread. So, and that's certainly something that can be accommodated in Ireland. Again, can really accommodate any allergies, of course.
Good. Excellent. Well, we'll answer anybody else's questions. If you still want to put something in the side, we'll have that and we'll monitor them and get back to you with those answers as well. And then we've got the webinar next Wednesday to talk a little bit more detail about the tour, and lots of those specific questions might come up, and for sure jot them down and we'll answer them all. Great. So I'll just turn it back over to, here we go. And we'll, all right, just doing the, Ian, I've lost my little screen here to switch over.
No problem. Who do you want to switch it to, Jen?
Just well, back to my screen so that Sandy can finish up.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. I love, this is where, yeah.
While you're getting that,
Okay,
there's
I'll
lots-
just carry on. Well,
There you go.
doesn't that make you want to travel to Ireland? And now I am so excited to announce our destination for April's Explore the World Live. This is an event I personally have looked forward to for more than 15 years. We will be exploring Oberammergau, Germany, and the Passion Play. In 1634, the town of Oberammergau made a pledge to reenact the life of Jesus every 10 years if their village was spared by the Black Plague. It was, and skip forward a few hundred years, and they are still performing the play once a decade with over 2,000 residents performing in an outdoor covered theater. I had the immense pleasure of meeting the director and the actor who played Jesus in 2010 and who will be also performing in 2022, along with his son, who is in the play for the first time. The play was supposed to happen in 2020, but was delayed to 22 because of the pandemic. There are many ways to tie in the Oberammergau Passion Play into a European vacation, whether it's on a river cruise, which I will be doing in September 22, a group trip, a group coach tour, or many other ways to tie it together. So please join us on April 28th as we explore Oberammergau and the Passion Play. Now, I do have a few gift card door prizes as well. Jennifer, could you pick a number?
Well, let's put it back over to Jonathan because I wasn't so good on the last one. Jonathan, you pick a number tonight.
Yeah, we'll pick number 17.
17. Wednesday, Cox.
Great.
Okay, and the second one, right?
Yes,
Great.
you go ahead, Jonathan. You're on a roll.
Right, 23. I feel like I'm doing the lotto or something.
Bingo. Yeah, bingo here.
Bingo.
23. Torchy Freeman. But
I think they're both present here. That's great.
yes, they are
Yes,
present.
excellent.
she was, yes, she was trying to
Great,
get on the.
congratulations.
She did tonight. Oh, that's
Um,
great. Excellent.
I just wanted to say, please feel free to reach out to any of us if you have any travel questions or if we can be of any assistance to you. If you would like to watch this live again, please head over to YouTube and check the Explore the World live channel. It'll be loaded probably tomorrow. Thank you again for joining us tonight. We are very excited about Ireland, and we hope you are inspired and excited to travel again. Enjoy this amazing drone fireworks display from Tourism Ireland. Thanks so much, everyone. Good night.
Good night.